Welcome to our deep dive today into the world of ionotropic glutamate receptors.
iGluRs.
Yeah, iGluRs for short.
Yeah.
You know those tiny gatekeepers that are controlling communication in your brain.
Right.
And today we'll unpack how these receptors are involved in everything from that aha moment you get when you learn something new
Right.
to the unfortunately more familiar feeling of forgetting where you put your keys.
Yeah, what's fascinating about iGluRs is that they're not just essential for everyday brain function,
Right.
but also play a critical role in neurological disorders like
Eh,
epilepsy and Alzheimer's.
That's right. Imagine these receptors as like intricate locks on brain cells
Okay.
and glutamate.
Uh-huh.
The brain's primary excitatory neurotransmitter is the key.
The key.
But here's the catch.
Yeah,
There isn't just one type of lock.
precisely. We have NMDA, AMPA, and kainate receptors,
Wow.
each with its own unique structure and function.
So it's like having different keys for your front door, your car, and your bike lock.
Exactly.
Let's start with the NMDA receptors, the ones responsible for learning and memory.
Okay.
Think of them as the save button in your brain.
Uh-huh.
What makes them so special?
Well, NMDA receptors are unique because they allow calcium to enter the neuron when activated by glutamate.
Okay.
And calcium is like a messenger,
Right.
triggering a cascade of changes that strengthen connections between neurons.
Interesting.
It's like etching a memory into the brain.
So every time you learn something new, calcium is flowing into your neurons, helping to solidify that memory. That's incredible.
It is.
But what about those times when we can't seem to remember things?
Yeah,
Are NMDA receptors involved there too?
absolutely. When these receptors malfunction, it can lead to problems with memory formation and retrieval.
Mm-hmm.
Think of Alzheimer's disease, where a decline in NMDA receptor function is thought to contribute to memory loss.
It's amazing how these tiny receptors can have such a profound impact on our cognitive abilities.
Yeah,
Okay, so we've covered the save button. But what about sending those signals in the first place?
that's where AMPA receptors come in. They're like the brain's express delivery service responsible for the rapid communication between neurons
Okay.
that allows us to perceive the world
Right.
and react quickly.
So while NMDA receptors are busy strengthening connections for long-term storage, AMPA receptors are ensuring the smooth flow of information in real time.
Exactly. Think of them as the workhorses of neural communication,
Okay.
involved in processes like sensory perception movement and even our thought processes.
Wow. And then we have the kainate receptors, the somewhat mysterious members of the iGluR family.
Right.
What do we know about their role?
Kainate receptors are still being studied, but we know they modulate both the sending and receiving of signals.
Interesting.
It seems they help fine-tune the delicate balance of excitation and inhibition in the brain,
Okay.
ensuring things run smoothly.
So we have these three types of receptors working together to orchestrate the complex symphony of brain activity. It's fascinating how each type has its own specific role to play, like different sections of an orchestra.
Precisely. And just like in an orchestra, if one section goes out of tune, the entire performance can be affected.
That's a great analogy. So what happens when this delicate balance is disrupted?
Yeah.
What are the consequences of iGluR dysfunction?
Welcome back to our deep dive into the fascinating world of iGluRs.
In part one, we explored the basic mechanisms of these receptors,
Right.
comparing them to intricate locks and keys controlling communication in your brain.
Exactly.
We also touched on how a misfiring iGluR can lead to some pretty major issues like Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
But today,
Yeah.
we're going to explore the exciting research happening right now that's focusing on harnessing the power of these receptors
Yeah.
to develop groundbreaking therapies for various neurological disorders.
Absolutely, that's right. One of the most promising areas is the development of drugs that can selectively target specific iGluR subtypes. You see, it's not as simple as just turning these receptors on or off.
Right.
We need precision tools, not a sledgehammer.
Okay, so it's kind of like instead of just blasting your entire garden with a hose,
Uh-huh.
you're developing targeted sprinklers that can water specific plants without drenching everything else.
Exactly. And the reason this is so crucial is because iGluRs are involved in so many different brain processes.
Yeah.
If we indiscriminately target all iGluRs, we risk causing unintended side effects.
So what are some specific examples of how researchers are developing these targeted therapies?
Sure.
What plants are they focusing on?
Well, one example is the development of drugs that selectively target NMDA receptors containing the NR2B subunit.
Okay.
These receptors are implicated in chronic pain and Alzheimer's disease.
Uh-huh.
By precisely blocking or modulating their activity, The hope is to alleviate symptoms without disrupting normal brain function.
So imagine being able to fine-tune these receptors like you'd adjust the settings on a sound mixer,
Right.
reduce the volume on the pain signals while keeping everything else balanced. That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Precisely. And another exciting avenue of research involves harnessing the brain's incredible plasticity. Remember, plasticity is the brain's ability to change and adapt throughout life,
Right.
allowing us to learn, form memories, and even recover from injuries.
You mean like how our brains can rewire themselves after a stroke?
Exactly. And iGluRs play a critical role in this process. Researchers are now exploring ways to enhance this natural plasticity
Okay.
by targeting specific iGluR subtypes, particularly AMPA receptors.
Because AMPA receptors are involved in strengthening those connections between neurons, right?
That's right.
Huh.
By boosting the activity of AMPA receptors, scientists are trying to promote the rewiring of neural circuits
Okay.
and improve functional outcomes after brain injuries.
So in a way, they're giving the brain a little extra support to help it heal and rewire itself more efficiently. That's amazing.
It truly is, and the potential benefits extend beyond brain injuries.
Right.
Enhancing plasticity could also be beneficial for treating conditions like stroke, where rapid recovery is essential for minimizing long-term damage.
It seems like we're really starting to unlock the therapeutic potential of these receptors. It's incredible to think how much progress has been made in such a short time.
Indeed. And as our understanding of these receptors deepens, so too will our ability to develop even more targeted and effective therapies. It's a truly exciting time to be in this field.
Okay, so we've talked about how scientists are developing targeted drugs for specific iGluR subtypes.
Right.
But I'm curious, what about the role of iGluRs in different types of memory?
Yeah.
I remember you mentioned earlier that not all memories are created equal.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
It's true that different subtypes of NMDA receptors are involved in distinct types of memory.
Okay.
For example, some play a crucial role in spatial memory, which allows you to navigate your surroundings,
Uh-huh.
while others are involved in forming fear memories, which helps you avoid danger.
So it's like having different filing cabinets in your brain for different types of memories.
That's a good analogy. And the exciting thing is, if we can understand which NMDA receptor subtypes are involved in specific memory processes, we could potentially develop targeted treatments for memory disorders like Alzheimer's.
So imagine being able to enhance the activity of NMDA receptors involved in forming new memories without affecting other memory systems. That could be groundbreaking.
Absolutely. It's an area of active research, and there's a lot of optimism about the potential for developing therapies
Right.
that could improve memory function in individuals with cognitive decline.
It's mind-blowing to think how understanding these tiny receptors at the molecular level could have such a profound impact on our ability to treat complex brain disorders.
It really speaks to the power of scientific inquiry and the importance of supporting research
Right.
that pushes the boundaries of our understanding of the brain.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground on the therapeutic potential of iGluRs.
Right.
But before we move on, I wanted to touch on something we briefly mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
the potential downsides of manipulating these receptors.
Yes, it's important to remember that while the potential benefits are significant, targeting iGluRs is not without its challenges.
Right.
These receptors are so widely distributed throughout the brain and involved in so many essential functions that it's crucial to proceed with caution.
So it's a bit like walking a tightrope.
Yeah.
We need to find the right balance between maximizing therapeutic benefits while minimizing unintended consequences.
Precisely. And that's why ongoing research is so important. We need to continue to study these receptors in detail to fully understand their intricate roles in both health and disease. Only then can we develop therapies that are both effective and safe.
It sounds like there's still a lot we don't know about iGluRs,
Yeah.
but the progress being made is incredibly encouraging.
It is.
I'm curious, beyond developing new therapies, what other insights can we gain from studying these receptors?
That's a great question. Understanding iGluRs can also shed light on fundamental aspects of human behavior and cognition.
Okay.
For example, researchers are investigating how variations in iGluR genes might contribute to individual differences in personality traits, like risk-taking or impulsivity.
So you're saying that our genes, which influence the way our iGluRs function, could actually play a role in shaping our personalities.
It's a fascinating area of research, and while it's still early days, it suggests that these tiny receptors might have a much broader impact on who we are than we previously thought.
That's incredible. It really highlights how interconnected everything is in the brain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're also learning about how environmental factors like stress or early life experiences can influence iGluR expression and function.
Okay.
This research could have significant implications for our understanding of mental health and well-being.
So our experiences can actually change the way these receptors work.
That's right.
It's like our brains are constantly adapting and rewiring themselves based on what we're exposed to.
Precisely. And this understanding opens up new possibilities for developing interventions that target iGluRs to promote resilience and mental well-being.
It's amazing to think that by studying these tiny receptors, we can gain insights into such complex aspects of human behavior and experience.
It's a testament to the power of scientific inquiry and the interconnectedness of all things in the universe. What may seem like a small, insignificant detail at the molecular level can have ripple effects that influence our thoughts, feelings, actions, and even our personalities.
Well said. It's a humbling reminder that there's still so much we don't know.
Right.
And the pursuit of knowledge is an ongoing journey.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And as we continue to explore the intricate world of iGluRs, we're likely to uncover even more surprising and profound insights into the workings of the human brain.
This has been an incredibly insightful journey so far. We've explored the intricacies of iGluR function, delved into the exciting world of iGluR-based therapies, and even touched on the profound implications of these receptors for understanding human behavior.
And as we move into the final part of our deep dive,
Yes.
we'll take a step back and reflect on the broader philosophical implications of what we've learned about these remarkable receptors.
So join us as we explore the big questions and consider what the future holds for iGluR research. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into the world of ionotropic glutamate receptors.
iGluRs.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground from the nuts and bolts of how they work
Right.
to the cutting-edge research that's harnessing their power to develop new therapies.
Absolutely. And we've also explored how these tiny receptors can influence everything from learning and memory to personality traits.
And now in this last part, I think it's time to take a step back and consider the bigger picture.
Yeah.
What are the philosophical implications of what we've learned about these incredibly important receptors?
You know, it's fascinating to think that something as fundamental as our thoughts, feelings, and actions
Right.
can be traced back to the intricate dance of molecules at the synapse.
It's almost mind-boggling when you really think about it. I mean, we've been talking about these receptors like they're tiny machines,
Right.
but they're ultimately responsible for everything that makes us human.
It really challenges our understanding of what it means to be a conscious being.
Yeah.
If our experiences are ultimately rooted in the biophysics of ion channels and neurotransmitters,
Right.
does that diminish the richness and complexity of human consciousness?
That's a great question. It's easy to see how some people might think that understanding the biological basis of our minds, takes away some of the magic and mystery.
But I think the opposite is true. Understanding how our brains work down to the level of these tiny receptors doesn't make us less human. It actually deepens our appreciation for the incredible complexity and elegance of the brain.
It's like we've been given a glimpse behind the curtain, and instead of ruining the illusion, it's made the show even more awe-inspiring.
Exactly. It allows us to marvel at the intricate symphony of molecular events
Right.
that give rise to our subjective experiences.
And beyond the awe factor, this knowledge empowers us to address neurological and mental health conditions with greater precision and compassion.
That's right. By understanding the mechanisms underlying these conditions,
Yeah.
we can develop more effective treatments and interventions. We can move away from stigmatizing views of mental illness
Right.
and embrace a more holistic understanding of the human experience.
It's like having a detailed map of a vast and intricate landscape.
Mm-hmm.
Without the map, we're lost and bewildered. But with the map, we can explore the landscape with confidence and curiosity.
That's a perfect analogy. And that's the power of scientific knowledge. It illuminates the hidden wonders of our world and empowers us to make informed choices.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to encourage you to reflect on the profound implications of what we've learned.
Right.
How can this knowledge inform your understanding of yourself and others?
Right.
What possibilities do you see for the future of iGluR research?
And most importantly, never lose that sense of wonder and awe that comes with exploring the intricate workings of the human brain.
Well, thank you for joining us on this incredible journey into the fascinating world of ionotropic glutamate receptors.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you've enjoyed the deep dive. Until next time, keep those brains buzzing.